continued to lock in their stars, agreeing with Jalen Williams on a 5-year max rookie contract extension that can reach up to $287 million. Williams earned All-NBA and All-Defensive Team honors after a breakout third season in Oklahoma City, averaging 22-5-5 while playing elite defense, leading qualified NBA players in points per direct isolation allowed. The Thunder became the youngest team ever to win an NBA title, now have their key pieces under contract for the future, with Williams, MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Chet Holmgren. The deals coming for a total of $822 million. College football 5-star defensive tackle Lamar Brown announcing his commitment to LSU. Brown, ranked as the #1 overall player in the class of 2026, chose LSU over Texas A&M, Miami, and Texas. If he signs later this year, would be LSU's first #1 overall recruit since All-American running back Leonard Fournette in 2014.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, Giannis said he's probably staying in Milwaukee, but should we buy that he's down solid with the Bucks moving forward? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
From Studio 2 at the worldwide headquarters of ESPN,
we
and the HD studio in Atlanta, Georgia,
are here.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Shay's the head of the snake.
No doubt.
Right? And then you get to Jalen Williams, and he's the middle of the body of that snake. And then you get to the tail, especially if it's a rattlesnake. Rattlesnake. I don't think that's the noise it makes.
There's no way a rattlesnake makes that kind of noise.
I tried, Freddie, okay? Yeah, and then you get to Chet Holmgren. You get to Chet Holmgren, who's the tail of the snake. So you got the full body of the snake. I couldn't think fast enough of a damn rattle sound, so I just went.
No. That's what a rattlesnake sounds like.
You are right. There's a snake in my boot.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Oh, good Lord. With my man Harry Rattlesnake Douglas, I'm Freddie Coleman, and welcome to the best show on your radio. It is the afternoon crew known as Freddie and Harry, presented by Progressive Insurance, and we are here on the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80. Don't forget about us and tune in always to that smart speaker of yours to play ESPN Radio. In 30 minutes, you're going to hear why Deion Sanders believes that college football needs the same thing that the NFL and the NBA has, and that is a salary cap. That comes your way in about 25 minutes. Real quick, Harry Douglas, when you heard Deion Sanders say that as Colorado head coach about that college football needs a salary cap, what's the first thing that jumped into your mind about that?
Man, we are getting far, far away from college sports being what we grew up thinking it was supposed to be,
right?
Or seeing what it was supposed to be. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. It really does.
You heard Mike Gundy said, the Oklahoma State head coach, he said, let's call it as it is right now. They're employees. When that kind of money is out there with NIL and everything and sponsorship opportunities, we are past that day finally. And I'm paraphrasing what he said. But yeah, they are workers. They are compensated. They are employees of college football, or college basketball, or college baseball. And you get the sense that he doesn't like it. He doesn't want it to happen. But that's exactly where we are as far as that goes. We'll see exactly what has to happen with Deion Sanders and everything like that in terms of college football and the salary cap, and our thoughts on that coming away in about 25 minutes. But right now we are 57 days away from the beginning of the NFL season when the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to be able to have at it each other to kick off the NFL season involved in 2025, which means that we've already started this week. And if we continue with our Rank 'em series and we put people on the hot seat like this.
From the top 5 offseason editions, Mike Vrabel, a guy who is approved.
Bringing in Ben Johnson could be one.
You can hate him or love him. Aaron Rodgers.
To the top 5 quarterback wide receiver duos.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb.
And everything in between. This is ESPN Radio's NFL Rank 'em. Top 5 coaches on the hot seat.
Now, this doesn't mean that if they don't have a good season, they could be fired. But there's going to be pressure on them to make sure they're going to deliver. Not every hot seat is the same hot seat. That doesn't mean that if they don't produce in 2025, things will just get a little bit testier in 2026. So we go through 5 through 1, and we start with
number 5.
For my money, even though he hasn't coached a game yet, Harry Douglas, Brian Schottenheimer of the Dallas Cowboys. When you're employed by Jerry Jones, who believes that his way is the best way, and he loves more puppet rulers than strong authority figures as a head coach. Well, not saying that Brian Schottenheimer is not capable. We really don't know. But when you work for the star, when you work for the owner that is the star of the Dallas Cowboys, and he believes that, he puts that out there. I know it's only year 1 for Brian Schottenheimer and Harry Douglas, but that's a lot to deal with involving that team and that owner in Dallas.
Number 4.
Kyle Shanahan of San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh.
I know they didn't make the playoffs last year. He got a contract extension as well, but hey, you've had a bite at the apple twice involving the Kansas City Chiefs, and you led in both of those games in the second half, and you let the Chiefs get away, or the Chiefs have called it a comeback because they've been here for years. But if you're Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy got all that kind of money, and you've been able to retool on the fly with this football team, yeah, people are going to want to expect that, okay, you've done this your way. It's worked out pretty much, but can it continue to work out for a championship? They go another year without making the playoffs. That could maybe be a little bit problematic by the Bay in San Francisco.
Number 3.
John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens. I know he's a Super Bowl winning coach, but you can't keep having these kind of teams in the regular season and not even get to a Super Bowl. Wasn't too long ago, the first MVP season with Lamar Jackson, they had the best record in the AFC. Got bounced out of the first round. And then 2 seasons ago, best record in the AFC. Kansas City's coming into your house of horrors in Baltimore, and then you spit the bit all over again, down 14-0 because before people had their crab cakes and their orange juice and sitting in their seats. And then last year, everybody thought that was going to be the year. You go up into Buffalo, and you did not look like a good football team early, and it was too late to make that kind of comeback. As terrific of a coach as John Harbaugh, I don't believe you can have another season without the hot seat getting a little bit warmer. You better deliver in 2025. It'll be uncomfortable 2026.
Number 2.
Mike McDaniel of Miami Dolphins. For all that he's been able to accomplish, now there's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a referendum, especially when many people wondered why he have not been able to find a quality backup quarterback to a guy that's oft injured when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. When he's healthy, the offense is right. When he's not healthy, it's yikes down in Miami. And now you're in a division where the Buffalo Bills, they're going to win that division. The AFC is stronger. The Jets have a new head coach. They believe they can overtake you. The Patriots have a quarterback that they believe in Drake May. They bring in Mike Vrabel. You may be a lot closer to those teams 3 and 4 than team number 1 in your division. And if that's going to be the case in training down for Miami, Mike McDaniel may be an offensive coordinator somewhere else and not a head coach in Miami.
Number 1.
Brian Daboll, the New York Giants.
Hello.
It's obvious. I know that they have Jackson Dart their quarterback, but come on now. Do we really believe that the Giants go 4-13, which is more than likely? Look at their first 10 games of their schedule involving the New York Giants. There's going to be a lot of people that don't want to hear about, well, the schedule's too tough. We got a young team, got a young quarterback. When you got Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, 49ers, Bears, Packers, Lions, Patriots. That's the first 14 games for the New York Giants. They could be worse than they were last year record-wise. That doesn't mean that'll be enough to have a gap year potentially with Brian Daboll. He got to stay up execution. They better look like a better football team, or the execution will be in a different term, in a different context regarding Brian Daboll as head coach of the New York Giants.
Now. It is time for me to critique the very list of Freddie Coleman when it comes to NFL coaches on the hot seat. Top 5, that is. Now, I'll start with number 5 that you chose, Freddie Brian Schottenheimer. I do not believe that he is on the hot seat. Why? What's one of my favorite songs? I'm your puppet. That's what Jerry Jones loves.
He does love puppets, yes.
And we do know that Jerry has this affection, or I should say this fascination, for keeping coaches probably too long sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Brian Schottenheimer is going anywhere anytime soon, especially not after 2025.
Now, like I said, that doesn't mean I said hot seats are different. But Brian Schottenheimer, if he doesn't, let's say the Cowboys are 5-12 or 4-13, Jerry Jones is not going to be happy with Brian Schottenheimer. That doesn't mean he's going to lose his job if that happens with Dallas. That's what I'm saying with that hot seat.
Number 4, Kyle Shanahan. This is a good one. And it's a good one because Kyle Shanahan has had the ability to help guide with the unbelievable roster at hand as well, the San Francisco 49ers to 2 Super Bowls. And being up double digits in both of those Super Bowl games versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and ended up on the losing side of things. And that comes after he was an offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons and was up 28-3 in a game versus the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, and decided to get a bit pass happy.
Right.
And didn't continuously run the football. So you can't get rid of what happened in Atlanta as an OC when you see the double-digit leads being blown away when he was the head coach for the San Francisco 49ers in those Super Bowl appearances.
Right.
But also, I would say this, they just paid their quarterback, right? So when you pay your quarterback a boatload of money, that sometimes your roster diminishes, and now you have to be able to rely on other players who you can't pay a boatload of money. But also, when it comes to certain time frames of a meaningful football game, Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, needs to show up a bit better.
Okay.
Now, John Harbaugh at number 3 with the Baltimore Ravens, this is a good one as well because, you know, you go back 2 years ago in the AFC Championship game and Todd Monken is the offensive coordinator. And although I do love Todd Monken, they didn't do what got them to that AFC Championship game, and that's run the football. If I'm not mistaken, Freddie, 2 years ago, they were the number 1 rushing team in the National Football League. And all of a sudden, they got allergic to running the football.
Absolutely.
Versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, as the overseer, as the head coach, John Harbaugh, how can you allow that to happen? And I think also because players do play a part in this, John Harbaugh has to self-reflect, self-grow as a head coach and figure out what he needs to do differently so his players aren't continuously making mistakes in the biggest game of the year, in which we've seen it last year versus the Buffalo Bills, and we've seen it the previous year versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Mike McDaniel is self-explanatory. The Miami Dolphins have yet, on a consistent basis, be able to beat quality opponents.
Absolutely.
They've been able to make the playoffs, but if the weather is a bit cold, if the opponent is of quality, history tells us, recent history tells us that they're not going to win that football game. And then number 1, I believe, is self-explanatory as well when you look at Brian Daboll and, you know, just a lot of things that have transpired over the years with the New York Giants. And I do believe Brian Daboll is a good coach. But sometimes you make decisions in your past in which people overlook you being a good coach.
Right.
Because your decision-making or the quality of it, along with Joe Schoen as the general manager, it just clouds everything great that you may have done within that organization.
Yeah. Yeah. Some guys are better as lieutenants than chiefs.
True.
Honestly. I wanted that against Brian Daboll, like you mentioned. He's a really good coach. When he's offensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills and then the Alabama Crimson Tide under Nick Saban. Sometimes being that chief is more of a job than you believe that you can actually handle, or that job handles you. I think that job has handled Brian Daboll more than he's handled that job. He's going to get another opportunity. But with 2 quarterbacks that you hope are going to keep everything afloat until Jackson Dart is ready, involving Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, that may be too much for anybody that's a qualified, terrific coach. A man who at times seemed to be in a little bit over his head at times, and Brian Daboll with the New York Giants, that water is going to be very choppy in how he handles that this year, what could be the final year for him as head coach of the New York Giants.
So let me also say this for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. Even though he's on your list, Freddie, I don't believe the San Francisco 49ers would relieve him of his duties, and here's why. When you look back at the 2 coaches previous to Kyle Shanahan, right? You look at 3 coaches, Jim Harbaugh. They were the San Francisco 49ers that broke up what Jim Harbaugh was able to do in San Francisco. And it was because of him and the general manager not being on the same page and whatnot. And they probably should have kept Jim and then let the GM go. But then after that, they had Jim Tomsula. Whoo, man. Let's go ahead and get rid of him. They did. After that, they had Chip Kelly. Now, this is not the Chip Kelly that we see today.
Sure.
That's the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders and the guy that helped lead Ohio State as the offensive coordinator to a national championship. This was Chip Kelly that wanted to do things his way and only his way. It didn't understand that in the National Football League, it's way more different than the collegiate level. Then they hired Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan, early on, it wasn't great, right? He had to build, retool some things. But then they found themselves continuously in the thick of things every single year. So that's another reason why I think they will be a little bit hesitant to let go Kyle Shanahan.
Sure.
Jim Harbaugh, from an organizational standpoint, and just looking at how, organizations are run and in their history and their loyalty to their guys, I don't think, even if they don't win the Super Bowl, I don't think they would let Jim Harbaugh go. Yeah. I really feel that way.
Yeah, I'm with you when it comes to Kyle Shanahan. The reason I put him on the hot seat is because after the success that you had early, lack of back-to-back playoff appearances is not going to fly with the organizational structure in San Francisco. He runs that organization. I know John Lynch is the general manager, but nothing runs in that organization without Kyle Shanahan putting his stamp on it.
To the choir. You don't have to tell me.
Exactly.
If anybody knows.
Yeah, so you would know.
As one of my old teammates used to call me, Heron knows.
So those are my 5 part of our NFL Rankem series. My top 5 coaches in the hot seat in the NFL. At number 5, Brian Schottenheimer of the Dallas Cowboys. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers. Number 3, John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins. And number 1, Brian Daboll of the New York Giants. So you get a chance to weigh in. Not so much in my list, because we're not just going to make it NFL-centric. We're going to make it sports-centric. Give us those coaches or that coach that, man, you say to yourself, dude, you better deal with that pressure or that pressure's going to wear you out.
You got something to say?
Okay, listen up.
Call Freddie and Harry now.
Stop listening to my words and let me talk.
1-888-SAY-ESPN.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
That's 1-888-729-3776.
Which coach or coaches are under the most pressure in any sport? I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, soccer, not your son's, CYO team. Not that. Not your daughter's soccer team, travel team. No, I'm talking about in professional college sports. Which coach or coaches are in sports under the most pressure? Let us know right now at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Brother Douglas, if I throw that question at you, who's a coach or 2 or maybe even 3 that you say to yourself, look out, your job status could be in a lot of danger more than you know it.
Does it have to be the National Football League? It could be any sport.
Any sport.
Any sport? I'm going to go with, this is a good one. I'm going to go with Lincoln Riley at USC.
Ooh, okay.
When I look at USC, especially back when Caleb Williams was there, they had an opportunity to make the college football playoffs, and they didn't make it because they got to the Pac-12 at the time championship game, and who was there to bang them up a little bit? The Utah Utes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just the lack of physicality within a Lincoln Riley football team. But also when you talk about him being a quarterback whisperer and all these quarterbacks he's coached and these Heisman trophies, okay, well, I need national championship bursts to be with that. You can't have these phenomenal quarterbacks, but then you lack defense. Mm-hmm. You lack offensive line and defensive line play. You lack the physicality because now you're in the Big Ten. And I don't know if anybody has told Lincoln Riley this or not, but when you play Big Ten football, people call that big boy football. And if you are not right amongst your defensive line and your offensive line,
right,
then you're going to have problems. You're not going to be able to succeed in a major conference like that. A lot of us feel like the Big Ten is the best conference in football. Listen, they won the last 2 national championships. It was Ohio State last year. The previous year it was the University of Michigan. If you don't have your offensive line and your defensive line stout, you're not winning within the Big Ten, Lincoln Riley. But for all those quarterbacks who went on to be number 1 picks and be drafted and have phenomenal seasons in the National Football League, Lincoln Riley, we need to start seeing hardware for your coaching, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's why I'm going Lincoln Riley.
Especially at USC, where they're tired of being known as also-rans. There used to be a blue blood program in terms of competing and winning championships. That has been more than lacking for more than a couple of seasons. I'll give you one in the professional ranks and one in the college ranks. And I'll start the college ranks. I'll stay with college football. That dude, Kalen DeBoer, who I like a lot at Alabama.
Oh, hello.
He's recruited extremely well. They have done bang up in the recruiting process, either in the transfer portal or getting those kind of freshmen. But when you're succeeding a legend in Nick Saban, 9-4 doesn't work. No. Now, many people believe they could have gotten the playoff last year. Hey, they didn't. They didn't want to getting into the playoff, and they wound up losing their bowl game to Michigan, a team that could barely throw the football, and they just punished Alabama in the trenches on the offensive and defensive lines. So, hey, Kalen DeBoer, who I like a lot, and knows offensive football, if you're going to be the dude after Nick Saban, 9-4 is not going to cut it. You better be in the 11-2s, the 12-1s, playing the SEC championship game, and getting to the playoff. That'll placate the faithful down at Alabama. 9-4 is for Auburn as far as they're concerned. 9-4 is for Vanderbilt or Mississippi State, not at Alabama.
Can I say this about Alabama? And as I was doing the community service stuff this morning, one of the young ladies who worked at Wells Fargo, she went to Alabama. Actually told me she had some classes with Julio Jones and whatnot, right?
Really?
So, I'm just listening to her passion and talk about Alabama football, and I'm saying to myself, man, Coach DeBoer better get it together, man, because I don't think 2 years in a row not making the college football playoffs like it's gonna do it. Like I don't want these Alabama fans, because we know they call the Paul Feinbaum show.
Oh my God!
And oh my goodness, they lose it.
Paul,
because they don't care nothing about nobody but the Tide.
Paul, I don't like that guy Kalen. He spells it with a K, not a C. Can't get around him, Paul.
Look,
that's the kind of stuff they have.
Think about the outrage that they had last year, and this was only Coach DeBoer's first season.
Year. Yes, first year.
Can you imagine it being 2 years in a row not making the college football playoffs?
I don't have to imagine. I know that'll be an actual factual how they feel down there. That's not imagination. that's real when it comes to Alabama fans. So that's my one in college football. My one in professional sports, Aaron Boone with the New York Yankees.
Ooh.
2009, the last time they won the World Series. They've been close. They've gotten there. Haven't won. Now, they've run out of excuses with the whole Astros situation. They got the blood beaten out of them by the Los Angeles Dodgers in last year's World Series. They were only able to scratch one game off them. Even my Mets got two. They almost got three in the NLCS. They only got one when it comes to scratching that game off the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series. Many people wanted Aaron Boone and even Brian Cashman, the general manager, to be gone for more than a minute. Well, all of a sudden now, the American League in your own division's gotten a little bit better, and you're trying to figure that out on the fly if you are the New York Yankees. Another season going by and not a World Series championship for the most famous organization in sports worldwide. At a certain point, when does that reckoning happen involving Aaron Boone and the Yankees?
That's a good point.
He's Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman. Appreciate you joining us in the afternoon cool, known as Freddie and Harry, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and Sirius XM Channel 80. So you heard from us. Harry Douglas says the coach under the most pressure to him is Lincoln Riley, the football coach at USC. I say it's Kalen DeBoer of Alabama in college and Aaron Boone in the majors in baseball with the New York Yankees. What about you? Which coach or coaches from any sport across all sports are facing the most pressure? 888 say ESPN, 888-729-3776. We get a chance to hear from you after you hear this word from Harry when it comes to Grainger.
As you know, managing maintenance, repair, and also operations is never easy. But for the ones who always rise to the challenge, Grainger has your back, From professional grade products you can count on to fast, dependable delivery, they're there to help you keep your things running smoothly. Plus, their technical product specialists are here to help answer your toughest questions. And because Grainger knows safety is always a priority, they're committed to being your partner in protecting both your people and your facilities. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
The NFL on ESPN Radio.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be irrelevant by Thanksgiving. Irrelevant.
Camp to camp, team to team.
That kid's amazing. There is no way.
We're going to have action soon.
The countdown continues on ESPN Radio.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
So what about dedicated diesel and the Dixie Chopper?
There are mowers there to be had at the best prices that you'll ever see on an industrial or a residential type mower that carries a bumper-to-bumper warranty on the drivetrain, the whole works, some thousands off. We're gonna move these out, and Andy is the guy to see. 217-328-0562. He'll help you out. If you need service or parts on a Dixie Chopper, he's the guy to talk to.
Yep, and this is the fastest lawnmower ever made, so ready to go.
World's fastest mower, Dixie Chopper.
That's it.
That's right.
Well, my friend, it is always a pleasure to get your tips on the Pitmaster side and, of course, learn about Gelferix Trucking and Dedicated Diesel, which you are in charge of, sir. So, well done.
Give us that contact information.
Email me at timo@gftlog.com or call me at the office at 765-793-7131 and hit 4 when the auto attendant answers.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's DC's Superman Day at Busch Stadium. This is Miles Michaelis. And if you soar into the ballpark on Sunday, July 13th, when the Cardinals battle the Braves with a special themed ticket, you can take home a tear-open Superman jersey. Let's fight for truth, justice, and a win over Atlanta. That's Sunday, July 13th, a heroic day you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now before they fly away at cardinals.com/theme.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Carpet Weaver's Flooring and Furniture Gallery has savings store-wide for the anniversary sale. Installation is half off Mohawk's waterproof luxury vinyl floors. The installation is free for Mohawk Carpet. And get up to $1,000 instant rebate on Mohawk carpets and floors. Instant rebates on all furniture. Plus, buy it all 2 years free financing. Don't miss the anniversary sale going on now at Carpet Weavers. Enjoy free yoga at Urbana Park District's Meadowbrook Park each Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. No experience needed. All are welcome. Bring comfortable clothes and your yoga mat or a towel. Instructors can modify the exercises to your experience level. Yoga is a great way to exercise and refresh the mind and soul. Make new friends or bring friends. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 at Meadowbrook Park. Learn more at urbanaparks.org.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window, a proud member of Prairie Home Alliance. A new front door can instantly upgrade the look of your home and make it more energy efficient. The Kramer Siding and Window team can also install French doors to your deck or patio, welcoming the outside in, or storm doors for an extra layer of protection against the elements. The estimate is free, financing is available, and the business is local. Schedule your beautiful new door today and save 25%. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Busy offseason continues in OKC. The Thunder agreeing with Jalen Williams on a 5-year max rookie contract extension that can be worth up to $287 million. Thunder star earned All-NBA and All-Defensive Team honors in his 3rd season in the NBA, averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per night while playing elite defense, leading qualified NBA players in points per direct isolation allowed. Thunder now have their key pieces under contract for the future, with Williams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Chet Holmgren, the 3 deals combining to cost $822 million this offseason. In baseball, the Cubs salvaged their finale with the Twins 8-1. Pete Crow Armstrong homering twice, driving in 3. His 5th multi-homer game this season. Colin Ray won his 3rd straight start, allowed 3 hits and a season-high 7 innings. Cubs improved back to 17 games over 500, 2 games in front of the Brewers in a packed NL Central.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Yeah.
With Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman, it's the afternoon cool known as Freddie and Harry, presented by Progressive Insurance. Appreciate you joining us on SiriusXM Channel 80. Don't forget about us and tune in and tell that smart speaker of yours to play ESPN Radio. When it comes to coach of coaches across all sports that are facing the most pressure, who is on that list when it comes to YOU? When it comes to Harry Douglas, he says, Lincoln Riley, USC head coach, coaching football. In their second year in the Big Ten, they better be better than they were last year, because Fair to Midland is not going to work in a program like that. For me, in college football, being the guy to Nick Saban cannot be easy. Kalen DeBoer, who wasn't bad, but not good for Alabama fans, going 9-4 and losing their bowl game. I have him under pressure in college football. And in baseball, major leagues, Yankees manager Aaron Boone. They have not won a world championship going on 16 years, 2009, the last time the Yankees won a World Series. Corey Mack on the socials, a Coleman ESPN, and an H. Douglas 83. Harry, he says, Brent Venables' seat in Oklahoma, so hot.
Ooh.
So hot.
I won't say it's hot. I would say he has a ton of pressure on him because, that defense was solid, but it was the quarterback position, right? And they played 2 quarterbacks last year, but they just got a 5-star commit from a top prospect, and that may save the job or relieve some pressure off of Brent Venables. But when you're at Oklahoma, a school as prestige as the Oklahoma Sooners from a football perspective,
absolutely,
you have to win. And what I mean by win, that's national championships, because that's the DNA and that's the history of that program.
Yeah, well, they'll find early on, September 6th against Michigan at home. That'll be a good early test for Oklahoma. They should be Illinois State the week before, an FCS team, but Michigan coming into their building at 7:30 Eastern time at ABC, that'll be a litmus test kind of potential what the season could look like for Brent Venables and Oklahoma being a head coach. Really good guy. Brent Venables, one of my favorite people.
Oh, yes.
But at Oklahoma, if you're going to be a frenemy with Texas to go to SEC, and Texas look like that before you do, a lot of people are not going to be happy about that in the land of Oklahoma, especially when it comes to the enemy Texas looking like they've been able to look so far in the SEC.
And he runs an NFL-type defense, right? A lot of different things, a lot of different things that the defensive front shows, a lot of blitzing, disguising by the secondary. So guys who play in his defensive system, as we've seen over the years when he was a defensive coordinator at Clemson, they tend to do very, very well when they get to the National Football League because of the versatility of a lot of those players and a lot of different things that they've seen from their defensive coordinator in the positions that he's put them in to be able to have success too.
Which coach of coaches across all sports are facing the most pressure according to YOU? Let's hear from YOU on the Freddie and Harry Calden line at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Anthony in Dallas, who's that coach or coaches across all sports facing the most pressure according to you?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, brother?
I'm a Steelers fan for 40-something years, man, and y'all leave out Mike Tomlin. We haven't won a Super Bowl since the 2008 season. We bring in a geriatric quarterback that's going to be 42 this year. We're reaching, man. We're reaching. And man, dude, he has got to win. at some point, at some level. This year, he's the longest tenured coach in the NFL. Check the stats. Yet we haven't won a playoff game since the 2016 season.
Anthony, let me ask you this question. Do you feel like it's more towards pressure for Mike Tomlin, or you feel like he's on the hot seat?
Both. I mean, God, a lot of fans, I don't want him fired, man. He's a great coach.
No doubt.
But one thing about leadership, man, sometimes the message gets old and you need an infusion of different blood. I mean, our OC, yeah, we got him from Atlanta, been a head coach. But why it didn't work last year? I don't understand him. And, Russell didn't work out for some reason, and we brought in Aaron Rodgers. That's another story. Okay, now, in the secondary, wide receivers running wide open, you would have probably had 1,000 yards on us. I mean, it was ridiculous, dog.
I think Anthony is done with Mike Tomlin being his head coach in Pittsburgh. He wants a new man, a new voice. Well, if things blow up a little bit, although he signed an extension not too long ago. Mike Tomlin not going anywhere.
I don't think it's happening because of the organization and the loyalty that we've known the Pittsburgh Steelers to have.
Right.
When it comes to GMs, when it comes to coaches, when it comes to head coaches.
Absolutely.
I should say coaches and assistants. So I just think because that loyalty that they normally have within their organization, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, 3 coaches since 1969 in Pittsburgh: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. He may not be doing.
What year was that again?
1969. They've had 3 coaches since then: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Sean in Oklahoma, which coach or coaches across all sports are facing the most pressure, according to you?
I gotta agree with Anthony. I got 2. I'm sorry. Gotta agree with Anthony. Tomlin should be up there with the pressure. Put him in place of our head coach, John Harbaugh. But the one I got, the main one is Sark down there in Austin.
Really?
I pull for him. I hope they do well. I really want to see Arch do well, but with all this clout and all this hype around Arch, it's not a hot seat, it's pressure.
Okay. I like the fact he didn't say hot seat, he said pressure. So he's not wrong. At Texas, there's always going to be that kind of pressure.
Yeah, but I kind of disagree.
I know you not kind of, you do.
Because let me ask y'all this question.
Okay.
Who's been the top dog in the SEC over the last 5 or 6 years?
Oh, it's been Georgia with Kirby Smart.
Is Kirby Smart going anywhere?
No, but pressure at Georgia is different than those people down to Texas. They've run coaches out of there in different sports.
But here's what I'm saying, though, Freddie, right? For so long, there were people begging and pleading for Texas football to be back.
Absolutely. I hear you.
Steve Sarkisian has allowed Texas football to be back.
No doubt.
They made the college football playoffs last season.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't going nowhere. Sorry, folks.
No, he's not going anywhere. That's not right. That's not wrong for you to say. I'm 100% with you. But down in Texas, the kind of pressure they put on people, let him not make the college football playoff.
I would say it's more pressure on Arch Manning than it is Sarkisian.
Yeah, Arch is fine. Arch will be fine. He's going to make money no matter what. No matter what happens.
But I'm talking about from a quarterback perspective and being able to be.
Sure.
Look what we just heard Paul Feinbaum say. He feel like Arch Manning is the best thing since Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Everything's not incorrect, what you're saying. Arch is still going to be fine. He's going to get paid at Texas. He's going to get paid in the National Football League. He's going to be fine.
Steve Sarkisian is still getting paid.
The difference is Arch Manning won't lose his job by going to the NFL. The pressure down there with the money they have in Texas.
But I don't think Steve Sarkisian is going to lose his job neither.
I'm with you. I'm not saying he's going to lose his job. That doesn't mean that there's unbelievable pressure when you coach at Texas in football. Both can be the same in terms of that. He's going to be under a lot of pressure because of where he coaches.
But here's my question for you. Who do you believe has more pressure?
Okay.
Steve Sarkisian or Arch Manning?
Steve Sarkisian, because he's the head coach.
See, I think differently.
Yeah, I think Arch Manning is he's going to be under pressure because of the name and everything.
But let me tell you why I feel differently.
Okay.
Sark showed me he can do it at Alabama.
I know.
Sark showed me he can do it in the National Football League.
Okay.
Sark showed me he can do it last year.
Sure.
Making the college football playoffs.
Sure. Yeah.
Who do we still have question marks about right now?
Yeah, Arch Manning.
Arch Manning or Steve Sarkisian?
We have a question about Arch Manning because we haven't seen it, although we believe what we're going to see is going to be fantastic. That's not to say, Harry, you're not a Texas alum. You're not used to putting pressure on people as a Texas alum. See,
you're right. And their pockets are deep, too.
Deep.
Very deep.
Oil rigs aren't as deep as their pockets.
Money, when I mean they got oil money, they got oil money.
The Pacific Ocean is not as deep as their pockets when it comes to Texas alums. I've seen them run coaches out of there after going to the NCAA tournament in basketball. I've seen them put pressure on coaches who won the Cotton Bowl but didn't get high enough in the rankings in terms of the final polls. Texas pressure for coaches is different than HD pressure. It's different than Freddie Coleman pressure because they can write a check in this country and every bank will bounce up into the sky. That's how much money they have in Texas.
You do make a great point because they got Charlie Strong up out of them.
Right, exactly. And Charlie Strong was a bad coach. They could have cared less about that. They could have cared less about that. Let Sark not make the playoffs this year and see how that sounds. They're just like Alabama fans. They really are. They're just like Alabama alums. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because when you have the standard for your program and you believe your coach is not meeting that standard, there's going to be inordinate pressure on that guy no matter what they did before.
And that standard should never be compromised for anyone. Yeah. So I can't fault them for that.
Yeah, I don't. But remember, they ran Mack Brown out of there. Texas won a national championship since Mack Brown won it with Vince Young. And they ran him out of there not too long after that. And they loved Mack Brown. So I don't know if they love Sark. I think they like him as much as they can. Let him go 8-5 and not make the playoff. At that level, be on the tenuous table involving him.
All right, so one more thing I'm going to say on this topic, right?
Uh-huh.
You can run Sark out of there all you want to. Mm-hmm. Let things not work out at Alabama and see where he lands. And then you have to play him every single year.
Believe me, they're still bent that Nick Saban decided to stay at Alabama. Why would he not come here? Why would he leave Alabama for you? He's winning national championships and beating up on teams. Let me start all over in Texas just because they believe I should go there. That's like plaids and stripes. That didn't make any sense. Keep weighing in on the socials at Coleman ESPN and at H. Douglas 83. Which coach or coaches in any sport across all sports are under the most pressure according to you? Let us know right there at Coleman ESPN and at H. Douglas 83. He is Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman. It's the Afternoon Cool, known as Freddie and Harry. Always appreciate you joining us and always thankful that you're going to be here hanging out with us. Especially we got Cooper Flagg making his NBA debut tonight. Waiting to hear how much money people are willing to play and lay down to see him play in his NBA debut. Sort of. This is ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, Giannis said he's probably staying in Milwaukee, but should we buy that he's down solid with the Bucks moving forward? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Champaign County Fair always has a terrific show, and this year it'll be featured on Friday, July 25th, with Tyler Braden opening up for Travis Tritt at 7:30. General admission tickets are $45. Reserved box seats are $60. Tickets on the track are $55. Enjoy Travis Tritt with Tyler Braden, Friday, July 25th. Learn more about the concert tickets at ChampaignCountyFair.cc.
Racing, racing, racing! Farmer City Raceway is your local award-winning dirt track with exciting Friday night lights illuminating the late models and modifieds going for the checkered flag for the win. Make arrangements to get in on the camping with great price points for pit passes and young fans, as well as veterans. Friday nights, the hot laps start at 6:30, then qualifying and racing action. Don't miss out on the fun at Farmer City Raceway. For details, visit farmercityracing.com. You'll buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
When the storm rolls in, where will you go? Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your family with a custom storm shelter from Berg Septic and Storm Shelter Services. At Berg Tanks, their shelters are fiberglass and plate steel safe rooms that can be installed in your garage or exterior, in ground, or on a concrete pad. Built to withstand the toughest storms, giving you a safe, secure place when you need it most. Whether you need a compact unit for a small space or a larger shelter for the whole family, they've got you covered. Their expert team handles everything from excavation to installation so you can have peace of mind before the next storm strikes. Berg Septic also specializes in septic pumping, new system installation, grease trap cleanings, repairs, and maintenance plans to keep your home running smoothly. Call Berg Septic and Storm Shelter Services today at 217-367-8632 or visit them online at bergtanksinc.com. That's bergtanksinc.com.
Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery has savings store-wide for the anniversary sale. Installation is half off Mohawk's waterproof luxury vinyl floors. The installation is free for Mohawk Carpet. And get up to $1,000 instant rebate on Mohawk carpets and floors. Instant rebates on all furniture. Plus, buy it all 2 years free financing. Don't miss the anniversary sale going on now at Carpet Weavers.
Since 1929, Christie Clinic has strived to provide high-quality care with a personal touch. To continue our mission of we listen, we care, we are seeking engaged team members who are focused on improving patient lives, adding value, and increasing capacity to better serve our growing community. Christie Clinic offers competitive pay, great benefits, and advancement opportunities. Come join our team. Visit ChristieClinic.com to view open positions and apply.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $699.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
much do people want to pay Cooper Flag? This much in terms of this amount of money for his sort of NBA debut tonight, part of the Summer League in Las Vegas. That game at 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2 with Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman. Welcome to the Afternoon Cool, known as Freddie and Harry, presented by Progressive Insurance on Sirius XM Channel 80, as well as tune in. And don't forget to tell that smart speaker to play ESPN Radio. Now, Cooper Flag playing for the Dallas Mavericks, having a chance to go against the Los Angeles Lakers and Bronny James on the other side. Believe me, nothing is Bronny James. Nobody cares. It's all about Cooper Flag. And according to Vivid Seats, the average ticket price for the game tonight, as of Tuesday, was $223. The cheapest ticket, $85. The most expensive ticket, if you want to sit in the Michelob Ultra courtside deck, $3,073. To bring you context and a comparison, the average ticket price when Victor Wembanyama had his Summer League debut in 2023 was $297.
Can you imagine that? Paying $3,000 for a ticket courtside for a Summer League game? Woo! You talk about the power of branding when it comes to these players and what they mean to the game and what they mean to all eyeballs who are going to be watching. Now, you know, Cooper Flag coming from Duke, being the number 1 overall pick. I'm interested to see how he's going to be able to perform tonight. We also have to remember, and I heard Brian Windhorst say this earlier, I have to remember, y'all, like it's okay if he doesn't have a great game. And I don't want people, oh, my gosh, Cooper Flag's a bust. He didn't do well in Summer League in his first matchup.
Yeah.
Shut up, like Little Richard will tell you, all of you. Be quiet. That means nothing. It is Summer League. But I'm also interested, like, you know, seeing Bronny James and, you know, how he performs tonight. And I hope we get a couple of cases where him and Cooper Flag are matched up some kind of way.
Sure. That'll be good TV.
Because I think a lot of people in the gym, a lot of people watching it on ESPN2 would love to see that and how both players are going to be able to react and also, you know, live up to the billing. Excuse me, it's on ESPN, not ESPN2.
Oh, it's on ESPN.
It's on ESPN
then my mistake
ESPN
then.
Plus.
Okay, then my mistake then. Well, why not? You can't. Nothing is ESPN2, but you got to have them in the big. You got to have them in the big room.
Yeah,
the big room's ESPN.
Number 1 overall pick.
Absolutely.
The son of LeBron James, Bronny James.
Well,
Yeah.
it's more Cooper Flag than LeBron James, though.
But see, Freddie, I disagree.
Why you disagree?
I think it's both.
Okay, I think it's one.
I think it's both players.
I think it's the vanilla, not the chocolate here.
Right, because it's not like we've seen a ton of
I'm going to hell on
It's not like we've
scholarship.
seen a ton of Bronny James this season in the regular season for the Los Angeles Lakers. We've seen flashes of him.
Right.
But, you know, in the Summer League, he has an opportunity to play, you know, meaningful minutes. And I just want to see him play basketball.
I hear you on that one. But the star of the show
it's Cooper.
is Cooper Flag. And believe me, if he has one of those kind of moments, meaning Bronny James against Cooper Flag, we know what that conversation is going to sound like on
Can
Friday.
you imagine, like, in transition, right on the fast break, Bronny James get that peel and Cooper Flag is running with him?
You knew where I was going with that.
So if I'm Bronny, I got to try you. You're the number 1 overall pick. I got to try to.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not
Honey, where them tea bags at that we got in that counter up there? Can you bring me one of them?
Hey, now.
No, I'm saying for her to bring me.
For some hot tea.
Yeah, for some hot tea.
You're spilling the tea.
So if I'm Bronny James, hey, I got to try you.
I don't blame him. Why not?
I got to try to kill your confidence in your first Summer League game.
And this is another reason tonight why the NBA offseason is better than anybody else's offseason. Because we don't have to wait after the draft to see what we hope we're going to see. With the NFL draft, and the NFL draft is better than any draft. There's no doubt about that. It gets the best ratings, has the most intrigue, et cetera, as far as that goes. But you still have to wait until, and depending on the quarterback and the situation, you may not see that guy play for a year plus. Jackson Dart, prime example, of the New York Giants. Or you might see him early like Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans, or even going back in the past with Trevor Lawrence when he dropped out of Clemson, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Shedeur Sanders with Cleveland. What's going to happen with that one?
Look at Patrick Mahomes sat an entire season before we seen him.
An entire season. Cooper Flag was drafted at the end of June, and we don't have to wait all summer to see him. We can see him tonight. I know it's his sort of NBA debut. That's why I use the words sort of with NBA debut. The real debut is going to happen in October and in November when the bullets start flying, brother, when an NBA regular season. But at least you get a glimpse. You get a good idea, okay, I can't wait to see what it's going to look like in an NBA type of environment, even though you're playing against guys where the majority of those guys are not going to be on NBA rosters. They'll be on G League rosters.
I'm so glad you brought that up, right? So for Cooper Flag, You always want to give your all when you go out there and play any basketball game, right? Because you don't want to go 75%. The next thing you know, you've gotten hurt because you're not giving your all. But for Cooper Flagg, now what also has to be in the back of your mind is that you're going against players who are trying to make a roster. Mm-hmm. They're trying to make a name off you being Cooper Flagg. I'm not letting you make no name off me, boss. Nope. And for all the players who are on the Los Angeles Lakers who are trying to get on the roster, whether it's the Lakers or whatever other respected team in the NBA.
Sure.
I'm looking at this game tonight. Ooh, I get Cooper.
There's a chance to eat off somebody else's plate.
Man, I get Cooper tonight.
That's why I think it's more about Cooper Flagg. Guys tried Bronny James last year because of where he was drafted
and who his father is
and whose dad is. Yeah, so guys were like, look, I'm going to make my name off of him. Now he gets a chance to be on the other side of that. Not saying he's going to make or break his name tonight, but you have one of those kind of big bang moments where let's say you give Cooper Flagg a chance to catch a case on the dunk.
In transition.
Or even in the half court. If you take him off the dribble, a little rock the baby, little crossover, he comes off his man to try to block the shot, and you put him in the rim.
Tea, sir?
And you put him in the rim. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. That's why the
NBA 2 tea bags, sir.
Yeah, that's why the NBA offseason is the best offseason, because you do not have to wait to see somebody when they get a chance to play in a sort of NBA debut involving Bronny James last year and Cooper Flagg this year. 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks taking on Bronny James and the Los Angeles Lakers in the Las Vegas Summer League. Which side will be harder to defend? The Eagles from the Super Bowl last year, or Oklahoma City from the NBA this year? That's next on Freddie and Harry with Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman, and this is ESPN Radio.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text STAPLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text STAPLE to 321-321. That's STAPLE to 321-321.
All right, it's Tim Onstadt, Dedicated Diesel. We love talking to you about Dedicated Diesel. What's news there?
I've got something. I'm tired of looking at this Dixie Chopper Classic 4060 industrial unit. It's got 58 hours on it. It's basically brand new. The MSRP on that unit is $19,273. The MAP price on it, minimum price that we're allowed to advertise, is $14,577. Somebody's going to walk away with that for $11,000. We're going to take $8,000 or $9,000 off of that and just get rid of it.
Wait a minute, you're talking about a $20,000 machine, and I can get this for essentially half off.
Yep, this is a Dixie Chopper Classic. It's got a 40 horsepower Kawasaki engine, 60-inch deck on it. Comes with all the warranty, $11,000, walk out the door. Call Andy at 217-328-0562. Catch him on Facebook at Dedicated Equipment. You can email me at timo@gftlog.com. Get more information, whatever you want to do, we'll get that to you.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Sarah Champagne Managing Partner Ben Quattrone on why integrity is important at Sarah.
We hire the person. The person makes the deal. The person makes the department. The person makes everyone around them treat people with courtesy and respect. If you have a quality human being, you can play any position, right? We're talking about sports. They can perform in any department, and I could teach someone a job, but I can't teach them to be a good person.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA champagne.com. Dr. Omar Kokar, so why is gut health so important, and how do I do it?
About 20 years ago, our understanding was really one-sided traffic between the brain and the gut, meaning that if you feel butterflies in your stomach or all these terms that we use, it means that your brain or your mood might inform your GI activity, meaning that if you're stressed out, you get constipated. It's very common in females. But what we're learning now about gut health is that directionality between the brain and the gut is actually bidirectional. And what I mean by that is that we now have very compelling, good quality data that shows your gut microbiome may be responsible for a number of other things with your health, including mental health, appetite control, physical activity, athletic performance, sleep, and even mood.
Omar Kokar is an MD, board-certified gastroenterologist from OSF Healthcare.
OSFhealthcare.org.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Off-season spending continues in OKC. The Thunder agreeing with Jalen Williams on a 5-year max rookie contract extension can reach up to $287 million. Williams earned All-NBA and All-Defensive Team honors last season. Latest deal for the Thunder after locking up MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren over the last couple of weeks. Williams staying put. Will Giannis be hanging around in Milwaukee? He says probably. ESPN Radio's Chris Canty says he'll ruffle some feathers if he leaves.
It feels like he's about to position himself to do the thing that he's tried to avoid all this time, which is be considered a bad guy. If Giannis decides after everything that the Milwaukee Bucks have done this all season that he's still going to bounce, he's going to be a bad guy. They will look at him as a villain. No question about it, in my mind.
Canty on unsportsmanlike college football. 5-star defensive tackle Lamar Brown announcing his commitment to LSU. Brown ranked as the #1 overall player in the class of 2026.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Friday, Giannis said he's probably staying in Milwaukee, but should we buy that he's down solid with the Bucks moving forward? It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
From Studio 2 at the worldwide headquarters of ESPN and the HD studio in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's us.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Scottie Pippen, great player, was not a superstar of the Bulls. It also didn't help him that Michael Jordan was on that basketball team, and he suffered in orbit.
Jeffrey Jordan.
Right, but he was a superstar for what he did, but not a superstar player. But he was a great player. You can have both. You can be one or the other, and you can be both.
Yeah, you can have your cake and eat your ice cream, too. You heard it here from Freddie Coleman.
What kind of ice cream are we talking about here?
It depends.
Never mind it.
On the day, is it chocolate? Is it vanilla? Is it both? Is it strawberry? Could be either one of them. You like all three. 3 is the magic number.
The twist is always good too, Harry.
Mr. Swirl, Nick Cardi. Excuse me.
You like that swirl, Nick?
And Mr. Swirl, Nick
I love all ice cream.
And look at you.
He's going to buy some Rocky Road, baby. This is Freddie and Harry.
With my man Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman, and welcome to the best show on your radio. It is the afternoon cool known as Freddie and Harry. Thank you very much, presented by Progressive Insurance. And we are here on the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. You better not forget about us and tune in and tell that smart speaker of yours to play ESPN Radio. So what does the word probably have to do with the future Giannis Antetokounmpo either staying or leaving Milwaukee? We're going to get to that in 10 minutes in case you have not heard what he had to say on a podcast not too long ago. $822 million. That's a magic number in the NBA involving the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, earlier today, Jalen Williams agreed to a 5-year maximum rookie contract extension that could reach $287 million. So now the Thunder have long-term commitments from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 26 years of age, Jalen Williams, 24 years of age, and Chet Holmgren, 23 years of age, to play together and compete for championships throughout the rest of the decade. In the last week, by extending those contracts, the Oklahoma City Thunder, by reaching agreements with all three of these guys, Harry Douglas, the extension of total up to $822 million.
Here's the crazy part about it all. Mm-hmm. We understand that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's in his prime, right? Mm-hmm. But are we sure that Jalen Williams is all the way in his prime yet.
Oh, he's not close to that.
Chet Holmgren's not even anywhere, I think, near his prime.
No question. No doubt.
And they have these guys for the next, how many years, Freddie?
At least 5. At least 5. Because those extensions are 5-year extensions that will take their contracts through 2030, 2031.
But this is also a celebration for a team that preaches togetherness, moves in unison, don't just play offensive basketball, but plays on both ends.
Especially Chet
They're number
Holmgren,
one
man. Yeah.
in just about every defensive category. And when you have a unit, especially 3 core guys like these 3, who have the ability to do commercials together, who are right there for each other in every walk of life, you don't mind if you're the owner of the OKC Thunder paying all 3 guys. You don't mind if you're Sam Presti paying these 3 guys, because they also believe in Mark Daigneault as their head coach, and they believe in the coaching staff, that if we have these 3 core players, because at some point, because you're paying these players so much money, guys are going to start falling off the other secondary pieces, right? Because you're not going to be able to pay all of them.
Right.
And they're going to go and want to be able to capitalize off, winning in OKC and get the big contract probably somewhere else. But you believe that your coaching staff is going to be able to develop whoever else you bring in to surround around these 3 pieces. But for right now, man, they have an opportunity to repeat. Now, the Western Conference is going to be pretty damn hard to be able to get through in back-to-back years. But things are looking very, very promising right now for the OKC Thunder. And it also takes a monkey off some of these guys' back, right? Jalen Williams, oh, man. I was able to capitalize to get my money. Chet Holmgren, man, I was able to capitalize to get my money. Now the 1,000% focus is just on basketball.
Absolutely.
Because when you haven't got your second contract, you haven't got that massive contract in which you want to be compensated for what you're doing on the court and also how you carry yourself and not be getting into any trouble off the court, it's in the back of your mind, man, I want to get paid. You love the game, but you want to get paid, right? You want to be compensated fairly. That's no longer anything that neither one of these guys have to worry about. So I'm excited for them. I really am, Freddie.
There we go. Because they're thunderstrucking the NBA right now. The Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what they're doing with the kind of contracts they're having all 3 of these guys, in which the oldest player is 26. We could say that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not near his prime yet, even though he's won an MVP and been All-NBA the last couple of seasons, first team, winning a scoring championship. And you're right about Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. You have locked up your 3 guys for the next 5 years to be that gold standard in the NBA. A conversation I guarantee we did not think we were going to have. We got Oklahoma City in the NBA or the Eagles in the NFL, because those are the 2 gold standards right now in their respective sports. Many people believe it's Eagles and everybody else, even though the NFC is going to be a little better, and the AFC is going to be hellacious, no matter if Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, Chargers, Broncos, anybody else. If I throw this question to you, Harry Douglas, which title will be harder to defend? Is it Oklahoma City in the NBA, or is it the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL? As a matter of fact, I'm not just going to ask Harry Douglas that question.
Call Freddie and Harry now.
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
1-888-SAY-ESPN. That's 1-888-729-3776.
Let the brothers know which title is going to be harder to defend. Philadelphia in the NFL, Oklahoma City in the NBA, 888-729-3776. But Harry Douglas, lead it off. The Eagles, what they did to Kansas City, winning that Super Bowl championship that way against Patrick Mahomes, the team that won 15 games in the regular season, was trying to make it a three-peat. But then the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're not on the come-up. They've arrived, and now they signed their 3 guys to be together, baby, down in Oklahoma City. Which title's going to be harder to defend? Oklahoma City in the NBA with that young group, or the Philadelphia Eagles with a relatively young group with experience in the NFL?
Freddie, being out in the community today, shout out to Mrs. Porter.
Absolutely.
In which we were able to paint her house today. But what I'm not going to do when you ask me that question is sit on the fence. I'm not going to straddle that line. I'm not going to be on the Eagles side. I'm not going to be on OKC side. I'm going to choose one or the other.
Attaboy.
It will be harder, in my opinion, for OKC.
Really?
Because of the parity in the NBA.
Okay.
And you look at how much harder the Western Conference has gotten.
Okay.
You look at Kevin Durant going to the Houston Rockets. You look at what the Denver Nuggets were able to do and now providing a bench for Nikola Jokic, the same Denver Nuggets that took OKC to 7 games in the second round of the playoffs this season. You look at the Clippers. They're not going to go anywhere. So I think it will be harder.
Okay.
Dallas, if you can get Kyrie Irving back and he's being himself, yeah, it's not going to be easy for OKC. I think it's going to be a tad bit easier, even though it's not going to be easy.
Okay. It's never easy in the NFL. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
So that's why I feel weird even saying it's going to be a tad bit easier, I'm guessing.
Wow.
For the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. Right has become left. Up has become down, involving
I don't
Harry
even feel
Douglas.
comfortable saying it'll be a tad bit easier. I'm guessing.
Here's another
That's
reason.
why I'm throwing the word. I'm guessing out there the words.
You're doing the Giannis right now. Probably.
Probably.
You're doing the Giannis now. Probably.
But I think it will be harder.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about the National Football League. You know, I know on any given day anyone can win.
Mm-hmm.
But the Eagles had the number 1 defense last season.
Yeah.
They have the best roster in the NBA. You have 2 number 1 wide receivers. You have the best running back in the NBA as well.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best offensive line in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something to be said. So I'm going OKC.
Here's why I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, although I was still on the fence before I had to make a decision. It's so hard to stay healthy in back-to-back years relatively in the NFL. It is the most taxing sport.
Point.
It is the most taxing sport no matter what position you play, whether it's offense, defense, quarterback, especially the way that they play. They are brutal, they are cruel, they are efficient, and they are physical. And you wonder by playing a lot of football how much that could potentially take a toll. Because now, again, you're getting everybody else's best shot. The Eagles will give that best shot too. But everybody has circled you on the schedule saying, we can beat the Eagles. Man, that can make our season. That can give us a marker where we think we are or where we're supposed to be. And when you have to have that physical and mental aptitude to try to deal with, you have to deal with in the National Football League. I mean, the NHL is physical too. I mean, that's physically demanding as well. Mm-hmm. But the pressure in the NFL is so more strenuous.
Oh, and it's the number 1 sport in America.
And it's the number 1 sport in America. No matter what the Eagles do, there's going to be plenty of scrutiny. There's going to be plenty of conversation. There may be conversation in their own team. Let one guy not be happy about touches, even though you won the championship. And then you got to deal with that involving your locker room and how that's going to be spun to the media when it comes to Nick Sirianni and everybody else. Oklahoma City, you're right. The West is going to be a bear, even more so. And they were taken to the 7th-game series twice, involving Denver in the semifinals and the Pacers in the NBA Finals. But the NFL, that's just different, bruh. That physical intensity, that mental intensity, I think it's going to be harder for the Eagles to defend their championship more than Oklahoma City.
Now, Freddie, I didn't even mention the San Antonio Spurs. I didn't even mention the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
It's such a gauntlet.
It is. And here's something else to your point. Who knows with those 2 teams and Giannis? With Giannis in probably mode, the Spurs and the Warriors could be going,
Friends.
I'm here to get your attention.
And I mean attention.
We're going to look at Giannis Antetokounmpo and take that probably away from him.
I'm talking about the Greek freak. Friends.
Harry believes Oklahoma City's title will be harder to defend. I think it'll be the Eagles. What say you at 888-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Give you a chance to be heard right now on Freddie and Harry, presented by Progressive Insurance and ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Matt in South Dakota, which title will be harder to defend? Eagles in the NFL, Oklahoma City in the NBA, and why?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. And I'm really happy to hear Harry kind of on the same mindset that I was on. Like, it's really hard to pick because, like, the NBA is full of parity, and it feels like I love it that there's 7 consecutive new champions, and then the strength, like just the nature of going through an NFL season and everything they got to deal with. But for my money, it's still the Eagles that are the hardest because there's that bad man over there and I hate it because I'm a Broncos fan, but there's that dude over there in Kansas City. And until he ain't the champ and the Eagles took him down, but until something happens with him, it's so hard to count the Chiefs out.
I would also say when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles schedule, Freddie, to your point, it's not like they have an easy one.
Mm-mm.
The first game of the year, even though I don't think the Dallas Cowboys from a roster standpoint is on the same level as the Philadelphia Eagles.
Division games, though.
It's a division game.
Yep.
And then, they play the Kansas City Chiefs, they play the Rams, they play the Buccaneers, they play the Broncos, they play the Vikings, they play the Packers, the Detroit Lions.
Oof.
They play the Chargers, they play the Commanders, they play Buffalo.
That's the first part of the schedule?
Well, I was just going through it. So, like, the very first part, you have Dallas, and then the next 4 games at Kansas City,
playoff.
At home versus the Rams,
playoff.
At Tampa Bay,
playoff.
Versus the Denver Broncos,
playoff. Wow. Jeez. Maybe I should switch my pick to Oklahoma City.
That's brutal.
That's completely brutal. That'd be like Oklahoma City playing Houston, San Antonio, Golden State, Minnesota, Knicks, Indiana in a week. That's what that would be with the Eagles schedule.
That's brutal.
It is. Casey in the biggest little city in the world. That means Reno, Nevada. Casey, which title will be harder to defend? Eagles in the NFL, Oklahoma City in the NBA, and why, Casey?
Guys, thank you for having me. I was just wondering, I probably got the Thunder on this one, to be honest. Like, the Eagles are still pretty loaded tonight, even though the Thunder just, signed their big 3 and everything like that. But, I mean, the West out there is loaded. The East is kind of a toss-up at the moment. I'm a big Celtics fan and everything like that, and I still got faith in my boys and whatnot. But to be honest, like, I really think, I mean, there's been, 9 different champions within the past 12 years and everything like that. Like, It's kind of crazy.
So I would say this, when you look at the NFC conference, right, on that side of things for the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't see many teams as Super Bowl contenders. I have the Los Angeles Rams, and I have the Detroit Lions.
That's fair.
I have those 2 teams as Super Bowl contenders outside of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I can hear you. I hear you on that one. I'm not disagreeing. Not the Commanders? Got the NFC Championship game last year.
Close to it. Very close to it.
Okay.
Yep. Right. Very, very close to it. I also want to see how their defense is going to play coming off last season, because it's not like their defense was very, very good last season, and I know that's one of their head coaches' babies. That's his baby. Defense and that pass rush. But I will also say this, when I look at the Western Conference, Freddie, we have the Denver Nuggets that could be contending.
Not can be, will be.
We have the Houston Rockets.
Will be.
Potentially, depending on Kyrie Irving, we're talking about the Dallas Mavericks.
I hear you.
Who else would you throw in that category, Freddie?
Minnesota with Anthony Edwards.
Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Golden State.
Potentially throw the Clippers in that situation as well, too.
If the Clippers don't clip. So we can count on that. We can count on that.
I wish I had my Clippers with me.
Those Clippers,
that's the right sound.
Those Clippers in the playoffs would be better than the Clippers in the playoffs that we've seen all time. Seriously, as far as that goes. Scott in Missouri, which title will be harder to defend? Eagles in the NFL or Oklahoma City in the NBA, and why?
The Eagles, because it's one game, fellas. I listen to you every afternoon. The Eagles, one game, one bad game, and you're done. In the NBA, you've got a whole series for your talent to come through.
Well,
so that's actually something I thought about. I thought about that, right? I really did, because you could be at your worst on that particular day and lose. But here's the thing I also thought about.
What's that?
When you have the best offensive line, and they say defense wins championships.
Jalen Carter's going to be a bad you-know-what again, man, for a whole season.
At worst, you can rely on your defense and rely on your run game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are 2 recipes for being able to get it done in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's no probably involving the Eagles in the NFL, and no probably regarding Oklahoma City in the NBA. Both of those teams, in my opinion, if injuries don't wreck the buffet regarding those 2, will be at the top of that list. A place where Milwaukee used to be. But now the word probably is a part of maybe the future inside and outside of Milwaukee when it comes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. On the iShowSpeed YouTube live stream. Yeah, I never heard of it either, but I'm glad that we have, because Giannis was a guest on that podcast. And check out what he had to say about the word probably involving his future, either inside or outside Milwaukee.
LA, the tax is bad. New York, tax is bad. Yeah. Hell no.
A lot of people tried to convince me to go and play there and stuff.
Oh, no. So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably Probably. We'll see. Probably. I love Milwaukee.
Probably.
So am I the only one that loves Giannis' accent?
Oh no, that line's long.
Because it's like it's so. A lot of people have been trying to get me there. It's so funny to me, like in a good way. You know what I mean? It really is.
It's
and
not
Giannis
you.
He's this gentle giant, right? He loves to have personality and play around and joke around a lot. So I can imagine seeing him say that.
Yeah, here's the deal, and that's why I think it bothers me when he used the word probably. He's so genuine.
Yes.
You ask him a question, you get a genuine answer. If he says he doesn't know, it's because he doesn't know.
Me in that situation, because I would have been like, I don't want to answer that right now.
No comment. That would have been your middle name. No comment.
Let's go on to another question.
Yeah, so I believe he's firmly genuine by saying probably, because I think that's where his feet are right now. The only problem with the word probably to me with Giannis saying that is that why do we need to hear about a YouTube live stream? If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I shouldn't have to hear that on a live stream on YouTube. You should have told us that. Now, maybe he did or maybe he didn't. We have no idea. But I'm thinking if the word probably came out, we would have heard something from Milwaukee today saying he's never conveyed that to us. Or, Giannis told us the same thing. We're good with that. That's how he feels, and we'll continue to work on it. The Bucks are probably like going, what did he say? He said probably?
It leaves so much confusion, and it leaves so many different doors open.
Yeah.
When it comes to the future of Giannis. But I would also say this, like if you're the Milwaukee Bucks and you're upset about this, you're not going to express that to Giannis. You want to know why, Freddie? Because they want to do everything in their power to make sure that Giannis stays within their organization. The same guy who's been the face of it, who's averaged over 30 points the last 3 years, who's won a championship and finals MVP, who's won an MVP, who's been Defensive Player of the Year. They know Giannis has brought a lot of attention to their small market team. But if you're Giannis, I'm looking up and down this roster, and yes, hey, man, we added Miles Turner. Hey, good for us. But I'm looking at Kevin Porter Jr., I'm looking at Gary Trent Jr., I'm looking at Kyle Kuzma, and not a knock on those players, but, when they won that NBA championship and they had a Drew Holiday and you had a Chris Middleton that was playing at a high level, and then you had the opportunity to go get a Damian Lillard, and now I don't even have a true number 2 to pick up the slack when I might need it on any given night. I'm not too confident about that. I'm really not. If I'm Giannis and I'm in his shoes.
Yeah, I'm going to use a different P word outside of probably regarding Giannis, and that word is power. He's wielding that kind of power because he knows what he has in that organization. And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you should want more of a definite answer. Because if Giannis feels like, okay, guys, I think we've gone as far as we can with this relationship, then at least you have time between now and September to find the right kind of trade partners and work out the salaries, if it's going to be a 3-team trade, whatever that is. If Giannis decides to wait until September, he knows he has all the power. He knows he can dictate exactly what can happen. And if he says, I'm not going to play this year for you guys because I don't trust you guys, I don't trust the team around me, then you really put Milwaukee under that white-hot spotlight to get something done. That's why the word probably should bother me a lot more if I'm Milwaukee. If you say the word probably in April, okay, we have time to change your mind before the NBA draft. You're saying the word probably after the NBA draft and a lot of free agency landings have already happened, that would make me skittish if I'm Milwaukee. Because I firmly believe Milwaukee wants to start over. But they don't want to do the dirty work of being the villain in the piece. They want Giannis to do that directly or indirectly, and maybe that's exactly what's going to happen. Milwaukee may look at this and say, we're not going to be able to put the kind of team around him that he wants to be a championship team because we don't have the resources and we don't have the trade partners involved. So we may have to move on from Giannis, but they don't want to look like the bad guy in the city of Milwaukee by saying Giannis has got to go. He's got to move on so we can start over. We can't build around him. They want somebody else to do the dirty work, and maybe indirectly, with that word probably, that Giannis is helping the Milwaukee Bucks to have a difficult conversation regarding his future.
All right, so Freddie, tell me this, and I'm about to treat you like a guest that comes on the show. We only have 1 minute left, right?
By the time those tables got turned around.
What are 2 or 3 spots that you feel like Giannis could go from a trade perspective and really help that basketball team get to the promised land.
San Antonio, although it'll take a year or two. We got Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, if he's not involved in the trade, and just drafted Dylan Harper. You got some pieces there that could be very attractive to Milwaukee to start over and start the rebuilding process. San Antonio's number one. Knicks are number two. You got some primetime players underneath the age of 30, even though you got to match up their contracts that could be involved, whether it's OG Anunoby or whether it's Mikal Bridges. That would be, and also picks as well. That'll be very enticing to the Milwaukee Bucks. And last but not least, Golden State Warriors. Mm-hmm. You get a chance to pair him with a Steph Curry, a Jimmy Butler. Although you say that if you have to move on from Draymond Green for Giannis, they're making that trade when it comes to Golden State.
Without hesitation.
And they shouldn't hesitate. If they do hesitate, then fire the general manager. Fire Mike Donovan Jr. for hesitating on something like that. Those three teams would be at the top of my list that will have what Milwaukee's looking for to rebuild and has what Giannis is looking for. You insert him in either one of those three teams, you're a championship contender this year with New York and Golden State, and in the coming years, because Giannis is still young enough, with the San Antonio Spurs. Either way, the word probably leads to a we'll see involving his future in Milwaukee. He is Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman. It is the afternoon crew known as Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and Sirius XM Channel 80. Keep weighing in at 888-729-3776. Which title will be harder to defend? Oklahoma City in the NBA or the Eagles in the NFL? Harry says Oklahoma City. I say Philadelphia. What say you at 888-729-3776? Hey, Deion Sanders, I don't think you realize how much money people in college football really have by you saying that college football needs a salary cap. We'll explain that after Harry gives you this word from Vivid Seats.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changer rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every single ticket, folks, is backed with a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you that peace of mind with every purchase. And we all love a peace of mind. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app tonight. Or today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of who? ESPN.
I'm Scooby Migueza.
Nailed it. I'm Gary Streisky. Today on SC Plus, only on Disney Plus.
The Dodgers lose for a sixth straight time?
While the Yankees were listening to Jazz go deep twice.
And we show you Angel Reese's big day.
All that and more today on SC Plus, only on Disney Plus.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
It's great when hard work and experience are recognized. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. I am thrilled to share that Fisher National has been ranked 7th in the nation as a top lender in mortgage loans among banks with asset size of $300 million to $1 billion by our National Banking Association. This recognition is a testament to our lending team's dedication and expertise. After all, better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. If you're in the market for a new home or considering refinancing your existing home, let our team at Fisher National Bank earn your business and trust. We offer competitive rates with low closing costs, and we locally service almost all of our loans. Come see us with all your home mortgage needs and experience the top-notch service that has earned us national recognition. Learn more at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches today.
Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We're talking to John Reichert and Neil Asklin. I guess the first question for me, John, is what is it like being part of A&R, knowing how this all started? It was your grandfather, then your dad, and now you, and 100 years in business is hard. How do you explain that?
Well, it's incredible, honestly. When I was a boy, obviously, my father was running the company. It's always been, part of my life, but I knew that we had good people, at that time that worked for the company. I think with God's help and protection that we survived and frankly thrived.
I think the thrive is the key word here. Neil Asklin, I guess, let me ask you about your dad, Ken Asklin, who partnered with Dave, and they got it going in the 50s and kept it going, and you being part of the company.
I've been around since I was a young teenager, so something that I've grown to love, and the camaraderie and getting things done. And these huge projects that we're doing now just amazes me.
A&R Mechanical, a thriving leader 100 years later.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoe horn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. Offseason spending continues in Oklahoma City. The Thunder agreeing with Jalen Williams on a 5-year max rookie contract extension that can reach up to $287 million. Williams earned All-NBA and All-Defensive Team honors last season, battling the torn ligament in his wrist in the postseason. Came up huge with a 40-point outburst and a pivotal Game 5 win in the NBA Finals. Latest deal for the Thunder after locking up MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and star forward Chet Holmgren over the last couple of weeks. Women's Wimbledon semis in the books. American Amanda Anisimova knocking off number 1 seed Aryna Sabalenka in 3 sets to reach her first Grand Slam final at 23 years old. Becomes the youngest player to reach a major final since Serena Williams in 2004. At Wimbledon, will play number 8 Iga Swiatek. She made quick work of Belinda Bencic in straight sets this afternoon. 6-2, 6-0. Swiatek trying to become the first Polish player to win a Wimbledon title on Saturday.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
I don't think Colorado head coach, prime time, Deion Sanders really believes or doesn't know how much money college football really has compared to the NFL for him to suggest that college football needs a salary cap. He is Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman. It's the afternoon crew known as Freddie and Harry. I appreciate you joining us on Sirius XM Channel 80, as well as tune in. Don't forget to tell your smart speaker to play ESPN Radio. Yesterday, the Big 12 Media Days, Deion Sanders, primetime himself, Colorado head coach, sat down Pete Thamel, college football insider for ESPN, and he said if college football can help themselves, a salary cap would be the way to go.
There's got to be a salary cap on this stuff because this stuff is going crazy and nobody know where it's going to land, where it's going to end, and you have so many different doors. It's like I would see a player that said he got an offer from another school, and I'm trying to figure out why you guys haven't investigated and how is that possible when the guy's not in the portal? How's that? Now, if that was one of my players, you guys would be all over it. I'm trying to figure out how can somebody say you got a $5 million offer? How? And the kid is not in the portal. So I think we need to be upright and upstanding. Secondly, I like the professional rules to be implemented in college. They're getting ready to be pros. So let's go 2 feet in, on the catches. Let's mark the foul if it pass interference. Let's do the same thing the pro game is. Let's do it to college.
So Deion Sanders wants college football to be upright and upstanding. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But I say this, though, Freddie, the rules being implemented in college football, I don't mind that.
Okay.
Right? Because it never made sense to me why the hashes are so wide in college football, but the hashes are not wide in professional football.
Got it.
And a lot of these players are going to play professional football. I never understood why they only can have 1 foot in college football, but you need 2 feet in at the National Football League level.
Oh, I get it. Rules should be pretty much uniform across all levels of football, high school, college, NFL, because they're pretty uniform in basketball. When it comes to the court, the width hasn't changed, the three-point line, free throw line, all those kind of things. I don't mind having a progression in terms of athleticism, high school compared to college compared to the NFL, but the football field hasn't changed. Why can't there be uniform rules? That's the problem with Deion Sanders' statement. He wants uniformity in college football. When it comes to money, brother, you can forget it. It's not going to have that.
That salary cap thing, I just don't know how you're going to be able to do that, because one of the things I do know is that the bigger schools love the have and have-nots.
Absolutely.
Because they're on the right side of the haves and not on the side of the have-nots. That's their, in this world of transfer portal and NIL, that's their little, not go to jail free card in the back of their pocket. Ooh, I could offer them $5 million. Now, another thing I do agree with Deion Sanders, in the NFL, they have this thing called tampering, and you can't tamper with other teams' players. How hard is it to implement that in college football, though?
You know why? How hard it is? Because there are too many players on the college football team and too many mom and dads in the ears of players. That's why it is almost impossible to keep people from having conversations. And in the world of text and social media, where you can DM somebody, it's pretty much impossible to keep those kind of conversations from happening. As much as I talk about the NFL owners group being the biggest mafia in the world, the second biggest are people that support college football programs that have a lot of money and that have a lot of resources and reach.
If you don't believe it, folks that are listening right now to Freddie and Harry, if you don't believe it, I'm here to tell you, when it comes to the facilities, when you compare college football to the National Football League, it's not even close. I remember in Ohio State is still redoing their stuff. I remember a few years ago we did College Game Day at Ohio State, and I was like, my goodness, look at all this stuff in here. And then you go out to Oregon, I'm like, my gosh. These are drastically better than NFL facilities. But it's that booster money.
Absolutely.
It's those folks behind those college football programs that sit up there in those little suites, look down those players and hire coaches and want them fired. And you know what? We'll buy them out.
Come on now.
You don't believe us? Go ask Jimbo Fisher.
I know.
At Texas A&M.
He literally got all that money, and he's still getting money not to coach at Texas A&M. They could not have written that check quick enough to get him out of there. And he's still getting paid.
It's the power of the dollar.
I mean, Ed Orgeron at LSU. brought them a national championship. 2 years later, said, here's this money. Beat it. And he said, I'll take the money. And he went and took the money. And he beat it. Because LSU said, we'll pay Brian Kelly $12 million a year. And we'll pay you to go away. Because we don't believe you can do it anymore. As much money as the NFL has, nothing compared to college football alum and boosters with those programs. And with all the TV money rolling in from ESPN, ABC, Fox Sports, NBC, and streaming, that gravy train is not going to run out of that gravy boat involving college football. And everybody knows it.
If you don't believe us, go ask Phil Knight.
Oh, my goodness. A buddy of mine,
Go ask Phil Knight, folks.
A buddy of mine, his son got recruited to Oregon football, and he could not believe the facilities that they had there. They live far away from Oregon.
It's insane.
Yeah, my buddy's wife did not want him to go to Oregon, and they said they had a very serious talking battle because their son wanted to go there after seeing all of that, courtesy of Phil Knight and Nike money. That he said, man, we all literally had to tie him and put him in a straitjacket, get him back in the car, get him to the airport.
But Freddie, that's one of the things though. Like when you look at these major college football programs. Mm-hmm. You look at the Ohio States, you look at the Michigans, you look at the Alabama, the Georgias, right? The LSUs and, the Oklahomas. They do have an advantage because of their boosters and the money that's behind their program so they can offer
Yeah. It's
things
insane.
that other universities cannot offer.
It's insane the kind of money that's in college, big-time college football. Tremaine Hutchinson hit us on the socials at Coleman ESPN and also at HDucks83. He says, Deion was talking about a cap per player, so a 5-star recruit shouldn't get what a 1-star recruit gets. Tremaine, that means absolutely nothing in college football. I don't care if Deion Sanders was saying that. Even he knows that's ridiculous. If you can provide money for somebody, I don't care what that money salary cap structure is, you have a budget that you can go after anybody. And they're not going to have a salary cap, put a ceiling on that in big-time college football or big-time college basketball.
And I also disagree with that now. You're not going to tell me someone can't give me this amount of money because I'm a 1-star recruit and this person may be a 5-star recruit.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen 4 and 5-star recruits not paying out in a 1-star, somebody who's not even rated, paying out to be better than what a 5-star, 4-star recruit or what people thought they were going to be.
Believe me, college kids, male and female, they know their value, and they know their worth. That's why Mike Gundy at Big 12 Media Days, the Oklahoma State head coach, said there are de facto employees right now because of all that money out there. And now the college kids are not going to let that horse come back into the barn. They're like, wait a minute. You guys can and ladies can make all this money coaching. You can bop around the programs when they offer you more money in a bigger check, in a bigger environment, and bigger resources. Why can't we do the same thing? Why can't we have that kind of financial freedom to go wherever we want? You're trying to say it's not good for a college kid to do that, but you guys are doing it, you ladies are doing it all these years? Now the tables are the same tables when it comes to NIL and big-time college football, big-time college basketball. Hell, we're seeing in college baseball now, where literally a coach goes from one program to the other and 5 or 6 players go with him.
But, Freddie, that's a lot of my problem, too, when it comes to college football because you know how much film I watch. And sometimes I have the ability to go to some of these practices, and I'm saying to myself, this coach is making how much a year? To not really be an in-depth coach?
Harry, I'm not against anybody making that kind of stroke and they're having that kind of check. If that's the rule of engagement involving that kind of environment, then you got to play the game just like everybody else is trying to play you in their game.
True story.
So
I'm not hating them for it. I'm just saying it's like, because a lot of the times the focus is on these kids and the money that they're making.
Yeah.
When I'm watching coaches be a part of the Wild Wild West and switching universities and not really coaching the way they should be coaching, when you're watching film and it's so glaring as you're watching the film.
Deion's heart's in the right place. His words are in the right place, but not in 2025. No salary cap in big-time college athletics. Deion, I love you, brother. You can just let that balloon go because that's never, ever going to happen, especially in these modern times with all that money involved in college athletics. He is Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman. Together in the afternoon cool, known as Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and Sirius XM Channel 80. Harry Douglas believes that the titles are going to be the hardest to defend between the Eagles and the NFL and Oklahoma City and the NBA is Oklahoma City trying to defend that championship. I think it's the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL. We're going to tell you why we feel that way, and we can't wait to hear from you. Which title will be harder to defend, Eagles in the NFL or the Thunderstruck Oklahoma City in the NBA?
Call Freddie and Harry now.
Okay, you're dialing. You are dialing.
1-888-SAY-ESPN. That's 1-888-729-3776.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
So what about dedicated diesel and the Dixie Chopper?
There are mowers there to be had at the best prices that you'll ever see on an industrial or a residential type mower that carries a bumper-to-bumper warranty on the drivetrain, the whole works, some thousands off. We're gonna move these out, and Andy is the guy to see. 217-328-0562. He'll help you out. If you need service or parts on a Dixie Chopper, he's the guy to talk to.
Yep, and this is the fastest lawnmower ever made, so ready to go.
World's fastest mower, Dixie Chopper.
That's it.
That's right.
Well, my friend, it is always a pleasure to get your tips on the Pitmaster side and, of course, learn about Gelferx Trucking and dedicated diesel, which you are in charge of, sir. So, well done.
Give us that contact information.
Email me at timo@gftlog.com or call me at the office at 765-793-7131 and hit 4 when the auto attendant answers.
Mark your calendars for the Champaign County Fair July 18th through the 26th. So many fun things to do at the fairgrounds in Urbana as you explore your options at champaigncountyfair.cc. Saturday, July 19th, it's the Demolition Derby at the Champaign County Fair. The night before, the fair opens up with a rodeo, monster trucks, motocross motorcycles, horses, the Midway, and fair food. Have a blast this summer at the Champaign County Fair that 4th full week of July with Stevie J Broadcasting. Travis Tritt will be on the grand stage on July 25th as you try to win tickets from Stevie J Broadcasting. Listen for a Travis Tritt song on our country station, US 105.9.
Well, I smell TRO.
Text in TT for Travis Tritt to try and win a free pair of tickets. Text TT to 217-359-2255. Get more information at champaigncountyfair.cc.
And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my
At F&B Wealth Management, it's not just about numbers, it's about people and communities. Hi, I'm Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank and F&B Wealth Management. Our team is united by a shared passion for helping you achieve your financial goals. We are equipped and eager to work together to craft personalized financial solutions just for you, including retirement planning, risk management through life insurance, long-term care insurance planning, and investment advisory services. Together, we will celebrate milestones, navigate life's transitions, and build a financial future that reflects your values. Experience the difference of a team that truly cares. Visit investwithfnb.com to learn more about dedicated advisors and start your journey toward a financial confidence today.
F&B Wealth Management is a division of Fisher National Bank. F&B securities are not insured by the FDIC, not a deposit or other obligation of or guaranteed by the depository institution, subject to investment risks, including possible loss of the principal amount invested. Securities, insurance, and investment advisory services are offered through Midwestern Securities Trading Company, LLC, MSTC, member FINRA, SIPC, MSTC, and F&B are not affiliated.
F&B Wealth Management, supporting exceptional communities full of exceptional people.
Amber and Ian.
Credit to Mike McDaniel. The one thing he was brought in really to do was to be the coach for Tua, because the last guy didn't believe in Tua. And credit to McDaniel, he has been able to do that. He's gotten a lot out of Tua when Tua is out there and healthy. And he's also gotten the ball out of Tua's hands in a remarkable speed. But what he can't do is keep him healthy. He can't prevent all the injuries.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. This is Joe and Q.
Some guys' values are different than others. Some people could always dream of playing in the big cities. Some could just want to play somewhere where they're comfortable, they're happy in their surroundings, they're able to raise their family. It all depends on what they value. And when they were willing to stretch Dave Lillard's contract, which is basically unheard of over the next 5 years, basically it let it be known that, hey, we're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure the big fella's happy.
Joe and Q, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
ESPN presents the T-Mobile Home Run Derby, the only night Major League Baseball hits this hard. Because Atlanta has some extra pop. Feel the power of the Derby. And try to keep up with the beat of the ATL. The T-Mobile Home Run Derby, Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPN. You don't know me like that.
The Fantasy Focus Football Podcast.
Travis Hunter, so many questions surround this situation, right? How are you tentatively trying to approach this rookie?
Landing in the middle of two forces that are pulling you in different directions. All right, number one force. I thought that if he is just a wide receiver, he was the best player in the draft last year. It wasn't just because he could play both ways. Here's the other force. If Hunter is playing only 60% of the snaps, you're talking about a player who's probably not usable in fantasy.
Check it out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
He's Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman on the afternoon crew known as Freddie and Harry. Thanks for joining us on Sirius XM Channel 80, as well as tune in and tell that smart speaker to play ESPN Radio. Harry believes it's Oklahoma City. I believe it's Philadelphia when it comes to the Eagles. In terms of which title will be the hardest to defend, Oklahoma City in the NBA, that's where Harry's going. I believe it's Philadelphia in the NFL. Real quick, Harry, why do you believe it's Oklahoma City? Their title will be harder to defend than the Eagles.
Yeah, I think it's just so much parity across the NBA overall when you look at 7 different NBA champions over the last 7 years. But also the Western Conference has gotten a lot deeper and also steeper when you look at the Denver Nuggets providing the bench for Nikola Jokic. You also look at Dylan Harper now going to the San Antonio Spurs. You have De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. Those guys are going to be back better and younger as well. Yeah. You look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're saying to themselves, hey, the last 2 years we made the Western Conference Finals. At some point, we got to jump that hurdle. Right. Not the hurdle that you run track in, but the hurdle that's stopping them from being able to make an NBA Finals. You also, did I mention the Houston Rockets and acquiring Kevin Durant and what he means to them? Lord and behold, if the Dallas Mavericks are able to get Kyrie Irving back and he's full throttle. So there's so many players going to the party in the Western Conference in which OKC, we have to remember last year, like the Denver Nuggets took them to 7 games now. And the Denver Nuggets didn't have a deep bench. And the Denver Nuggets had a hampered, also Aaron Gordon. And then you also had Casper the Friendly Ghost, Michael Porter Jr., which also played a major factor in them trading for Cam Johnson, who is a better two-way player and can also just do more than just spot up and shoot as well. So there are a lot of players at the party in the Western Conference that OKC has to deal with moving forward.
I think it's the Philadelphia Eagles because in a physically demanding sport like the NFL and a mentally demanding sport like the NFL, and everybody's doing their best shot at you in a one-game situation week after week, that can weigh you down. And also playing in that city where you set that kind of standard, anything less than that will be uncivilized to the patrons in the city of brotherly love when it comes to the Eagles fandom involved with that team. 888-729-3776. Which title will be harder to defend? Eagles in the NFL, Oklahoma City in the NBA. Big Will in Baltimore, where are you landing and why?
Fellas. Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon, brother.
I'm leaning towards the Eagles, man. And Freddie, the way you transitioned to that question, you had me speaking like Pootie Tang, man. I didn't know which way to go, but I know I'm on Harry. I was saying all kind because it's a hard decision, man. But I know I'm on Freddie and Harry, and we don't ride the fence. You got to pick one.
That's right.
So I'm going with the Eagles for everything you mentioned, and then Harry made a point that made me go back and think about. They did just lose Kellen Moore. When Harry talked about, people start, complaining about, not getting the touches that they got before. You got a new OC coming in, and he got to figure out the rhythm of those guys just like Kellen Moore did last year, man. So I'm going to ride with the Eagles, fellas, man. I'm going to chime off, man. I'm going to sit back and listen to you guys' points, man. Thanks a lot for your time.
Absolutely. I always appreciate you, Big Will, in Baltimore, and to everything that you and Harry have said, having that kind of adjustment. And also with Oklahoma City, for the first time, they're the team.
Yeah.
That everybody's going to be shooting after. And you know my motto, one thing being the hunter. How do you handle being the hunted? The Eagles have dealt with that and won a championship. I can't wait to see exactly how Oklahoma City is going to deal with that for the first time in the history of that organization since they moved from Seattle to play in Oklahoma City. Charles in the Bay, which title will be harder to defend? Eagles in the NFL, Oklahoma City in the NBA. Harry believes it's Oklahoma City. I believe it's Philadelphia. Charles in the Bay, what about you?
Yes, sir. I hope you're all having a good day. The first thing I'm going to say is give me back my Sonics. That was my championship. Let's just be honest.
There should be the NBA in Seattle.
Secondly,
Co-sign on that one, Charles. Co-sign.
Oh, man. Secondly, I believe it's Oklahoma City because if Indiana showed us anything, Harry's point is great about being in a hard division. But if Indiana showed us anything, one superstar goes down, you can't make up for that. We've seen the NFL where in the NFL, a quarterback's gone down and they're still able to game manage. So I think that's the difference.
So, Charles, that's what happens when you hold things in the holster and you don't deliver all your bullets, because that's one of the points I was going to bring up. I was going to say, look at the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, don't save anything.
And how we have so many big players in that conference injured, right? You look at Joel Embiid continuously injured for the Philadelphia 76ers. You look at Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton. You look at Damian Lillard. All these guys injured. It kind of has altered the Eastern Conference. Now, I'm a person, I'll be first to tell you, because I dealt with entirely too many injuries when I played. I don't wish that on anyone. But it's also reality, and injuries do come up. And how severe they are, that's a story for another day.
It's amazing how a lot of those soft tissue injuries have really affected the NBA in a short amount of time in the playoffs. Jason Tatum of Boston, Damian Lillard of Milwaukee, and then Game 7 regarding Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. Hopefully we won't see too much of that involving superstars trying to win championships in either sport, either the NBA or the NFL. And when it comes to the NFL, by the way, keep weighing in. Which coach or coaches across the sports are facing the most pressure at 888-729-3776? And who are the top 5 coaches on Harry's list when it comes to the hot seat in the NFL? That's next on Freddie and Harry.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
Hey, it's Greg McElroy from the Always College Football Podcast. Check out our current episode where we visit with Steve Sarkisian, the head coach of the Texas Longhorns, and answer several interesting mailbag questions. Download it anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, we continue our ESPN Radio Rankem series with My Top 5 Rookies. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
In 1979, the first words spoken on ESPN weren't just an announcement.
If you're a fan,
they were a sports prophecy.
What you'll see in the next minutes, hours, and days to follow.
Glad you're with us tonight.
May convince you you've gone to sports heaven. And right now, you're standing on the edge of tomorrow.
This fall, the next era of ESPN begins. Sports Forever.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point.
with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
When you look at this Dallas Cowboys team, CCS currently constructed, new head coach in Brian Schottenheimer, even though he's been within the ecosystem there. It's his first time stepping up to do it as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. What do you view as a marker of a successful season for them?
For year one, Brian Schottenheimer, head coach, be in the playoffs.
Be in the playoffs.
Be in the playoffs. Now, that's a tall order when
Yes,
you consider the NFC. I mean, you got so many teams that are going to be vying for playoff spots. Let's just call it every team in the NFC North, 3 teams in the NFC East. I mean, any one of 3 teams can win the NFC South, and you're talking about 2 dominant teams, what we expect to be dominant teams in the NFC West with the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. So you realize there ain't going to be enough chairs when the music stops on the regular season. Somebody's going to be left out in the cold. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you got to figure out a way not to be one of those teams.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.